Hello and welcome everybody. Kicker of Elves here. Spider Man Noir has released. Is this a card that you should pick up and add to your collection if you're trying to climb to infinite? Is this a card that is competitively viable? Is this a card that's going to take over the meta? Or is this a card that you should just hold on picking up or waiting? We are going to answer all of those questions in just a couple of minutes talking about Spider Man Noir. So let's dive in. The first thing that you've probably noticed is that I have not purchased Spider Man Noir. I think that Spider Man Noir, I would love to be living in a world where this was the card of the month and that this was something where it's like, oh, we've got to be playing this. This is so cool, just because of how unique its card text is. We have cards like Silver Surfer and Zabu that interact with cards cost, but this is the first card of its kind where it's trying to look at the set cost of cards on the board and create a payoff based on that. I love the detective mystery flavor. But frankly, after about 2 days of this card being on the market, this is not a card that you should be FOMOing out to pick up to try and scale to infinite. This is just not one of those cards. This is a new, very flavorful card they've added here, but this is not something that is going to significantly enhance your account. I want you, when you're watching these videos, to know that I'm looking at these cards not from like, oh, is this a fun, quirky thing to do, but from a perspective of, is this a card that I should be investing my limited collector's token resources in, and is this going to enhance the value of my account right away? Sometimes there are cards that are released and they've gotten better at this that are just so broken you almost want to buy it right away because you know a nerf's coming soon. Spider-Man Noir is essentially a card you have to build around because of his condition. This isn't something you can just toss into a deck and then hope it comes out. You don't just throw, a vanilla 4/6 into your deck. This is a card that you want to and you need to build around, and the payoff for building around just isn't that strong. That's the long and the short of it. I don't think this is, a card that you should outright avoid. I certainly don't think, this isn't Zombie Galacti. This isn't a card you should just ignore and pretend like it doesn't even exist. But this is also not a card that you need to pick up right away because its power level is so significant that going up against it on the ladder is just going to feel impossible unless you have it of its own. This is kind of striking the middle. This is something that you should wait and see. Continue to net deck, continue to check out videos from Snap Judgments, from KM Best, from all your favorite creators, and just see, okay, is somebody cooking up something really cool with this? Is something cooking up something that's really powerful? But 2 days out, the answer to that question right now is no. So let's break down Spider-Man Noir a little bit. Why does this card fall flat? A card that there's a couple of cards this is very similar to. One of those cards is Wiccan. Wiccan was a card that when it came out, for those of you who don't know, Wiccan is a 4/6 that says on reveal, if you've used all your energy up to the point you've played it, get +2 max energy moving forward. Before Wiccan came out, there was a lot of looking at this like, I don't know, this seems too finicky. How are we going to guarantee that we play everything out on curve? And there was a lot of, hemming and hawing about that. And Wiccan for quite some time ended up being extremely powerful, like an S tier card for quite a while, especially in the era of tech slop, mid-range dominated decks that we have thankfully moved away from. Now compare that to Spider-Man Noir. I thought that, there's some, we thought Wiccan was going to be too difficult to deal. Maybe Spider-Man Noir is similar, but it is just so much easier to play cards on curve. You can even play Quicksilver and Domino like many people do for Wiccan than it is to guarantee that your cards have exactly 8 cost in total. You're not just playing a 1-on-1, a 2-on-2, and a 3-on-3. That's 7. You have to get creative with it. You have to do stuff like playing a 2 cost and then playing Shanna and then playing this. You have to change the way you're playing to meet this card's condition. And then the payoff of this compared to Wiccan just generically gives you, plus if you're playing a normal turn 6 game of Marvel Snap, it essentially makes the cost of itself free. You get 4 extra energy, 2-on-5, 2-on-6, whereas this, you're pulling a random card from your deck. Now, of course, it's going to feel awesome when you hit Iron Man. Of course, it's going to feel awesome when you hit Man Spider or Blue Marvel and cheat out these very high impact, high cost, but low power cards. Of course, but you're not always going to do that. You might pull out a 1/8 Squirrel Girl, which, sure, it's fine. You might hit your Gilgamesh, because a lot of zoo decks have come out around this, and you're decreasing its power by 1. You're setting its power to 8. When you high roll, it feels great, but it's random. You don't know what you're getting. It is so much less direct compared to a card like Wiccan. So, and I'm not even a big Wiccan fan. To be frank with you, if I see Quicksilver played down on turn 1, I roll my eyes and go like, ugh, I don't want to have to deal with an Eliath on turn 5. So I'm not even the biggest Wiccan fan. This card asks you to construct your entire deck around it for a payoff that right now is not worth it. Another card that this has been compared to that I think is a really helpful lens for you to view just why this isn't a card you should throw down for right now is Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom is a 4/7 that in a lot of ways is doing the same sort of thing that Spider-Man Noir is doing, where Anti-Venom just says, hey, the top card of your deck costs 0 and has 0 power. Similar to Spider-Man Noir, it's cheating out a card for free. It's saying, hey, we're just going to give you something random. Of course, with Anti-Venom, you're setting its power to 0. So you're not getting actual power on the board. You're just benefiting from its effect. Spider-Man Noir sets the power to 8, but it's also playing the card here. It's also random at what's going to be, and it has this insane deck building condition, and not even deck building, but deck play pattern. It's one thing for, again, Wiccan to require you to play Quicksilver and Domino and then some cool 3-drops like Speed, but here you're getting the deck, it's got the deck building requirements, then you have to play them out in a certain way and hope you draw in a certain way, and then hope you got the added bonus of a Cerebro deck limitation, where like how Cerebro hates if Monster Allen shows up. If Monster Allen shows up or your opponent plays a Luna Snow or a Ninja hits the board, it messes with that too. Anti-Venom is a 4/7, it's better statted. You can just play it whenever, and its condition is met as long as you're not playing it into a Cosmo location. Spider-Man Noir, on the other hand, asking for a lot for a random payoff that may not even be worth it. 4/6 body is decent, but if this was a 4/7, then maybe we'd be talking here. But as of right now, if you're looking at this from the perspective of I've got a limited number of collector's tokens, I want to purchase cards that are going to enhance my account and make it easier for me to hit infinite, hit a new ranked leaderboard record. If you're just starting out or you don't play that much and you just want to hit rank 60 for that free variant, Spider-Man Noir is not that card. I've got 72,000 tokens. I tend to only buy cards when they are very strong or if they attach to an archetype that I absolutely love. And otherwise, if they're just kind of middling or like, oh yeah, this is Ezekiel Sims or Superior Spider-Man, I'm not going after cards just because they're new and because I want to make content about them. I want to make content for you all that helps you hit competitive goals, hitting infinite, pushing new records, and just getting the absolute most value out of your tokens. If Spider-Man Noir comes back, or a deck comes around the week after next, he can still show up in your token shop. If you've played other gacha games when there's featured characters like this, a lot of time they're there for a week or two or whatever it is, and then they just disappear. You can't get them till they bring them back. Marvel Snap isn't like that. You can just wait, 3 times a day. It's going to rotate through your Series 5 cards, and you can just pin Spider-Man Noir if there's a meta deck around them. I wouldn't recommend gambling on snap packs if you don't, unless you have just like the one card or you want every single card that's in there. But you do not need to go out there and FOMO after Spider-Man Noir. So, in short, my thoughts on Spider-Man Noir: this is a hold card. This is a middle of the road. I do not recommend you pick this up if you are trying to invest in cards that are going to just boost your account to be, very competitively viable. I personally dislike the idea of, oh, it's a fun card or it's a cool card, but it's not competitive. This is a PvP only game. We are having fun at the end of the day when we are winning consistently, and Spider-Man Noir is not creating a new deck archetype that is doing that. If you are absolutely in love with playing Zoo, then maybe you go for Spider-Man Noir. He's a good fit in there. But other than that, this feels like a card that you can easily pass on for now. So with that, just want to say thank you very much for joining in. For those of you that watched till the end, Thanks so much for tuning in on this. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We have seen a great amount of growth over the past couple of days, and I really appreciate everybody who stuck around and has gotten early on this journey. We've got a ton more Marvel Snap content coming your way. And yeah, please hit me up in the comments. Did you pick up Spider-Man Noir? Do you like him? Do you have questions about him? How can we make this work? Do you have any other Marvel Snap related questions? Leave a comment. I love engaging with that. I will reply to every comment y'all leave. Even if you don't want to talk about Marvel Snap, you just want to talk about how great FLCL is, or talk about 90s indie rock, or your favorite manga, I'm here for that too. You want to talk meal prep strategies, I'm here for that too. You want to talk about great places to go for a walk, and how to make your AirPods last 5 years even though you put them in pools multiple times, I'm here to talk about that too. Anyways, all jokes aside, I'm Kicker of Elves. This has been my review of Spider-Man Noir. Don't pick him up right now, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.